Good afternoon, Ma'am Winnie and classmates. I am Neil Simon A. Salinas of Grade 8 Tagapanguna. Today, I will tackle to you about the music of Asia, West Israel. Do you ever see a colorful drum like this one before? It's a traditional musical instrument of Israel. In addition to instrument, you might be more familiar with like the violin or guitar. There are more some other instruments that may not be as familiar. This instrument make different kinds of sounds and add unique tones and rhythms to the ensemble music. Do you have any idea about the musical instrument of Israel? In which category does it belong? How are sounds produced in their instruments? These are some significant instruments in Israel, and in this lesson, I will explain each of them. Before we proceed on significant instrument in Israel, let us know first what is musical instrument. A musical instrument is a device created or adapted to make musical sounds. In principle, any object that produces sounds can be considered as musical instrument. The sounds produced by an instrument can be affected by many factors, including the materials from which the instrument is made, its size and shape, and the way that it is played. Let's proceed on classification of musical instrument. First, idiophones. Idiophones are musical instruments in which a vibrating solid material is used to produce sounds. Parang this belongs to the percussion family like triangle and maracas. Second, membranophones are musical instruments that use vibrating, stretched membranes or skin to produce sounds. Examples of these are drums, tambourine, and gong. Next, chordophones produce sound by means of a stretched vibrating string. When a string vibrates, the resonator picks up the vibration and amplifies it, giving it a more appealing sound. These are the string instruments. Examples are harps and lyres. Aerophones produce sounds by vibrating a column of air. These are commonly known as wind instruments. We already know the different classification of music. Let's proceed to our topic, the instrument music of Israel. Music and musical instruments have been part of heritage of the people of Israel from the earliest times. The Bible mentions the name of dozens of musical instruments as well as musical expression, and even the names of performers and conductors are recorded. All of which goes to prove that music and song occupied an important place in ancient Israel. Significant instrument of Israel. Shofar is a ritual musical instrument made from the horn of a ram or other animal, used on important Jewish public and religious occasions. In biblical time, the shofar sounded the Sabbath, announced the new moon, and proclaimed the anointing of a new king. How are sounds produced on a shofar? You blow into a small end of the ram's horns. The air comes out of a large end. Shofars with the small holes provide a much higher sound, and the ones with the larger holes sometimes provide a lower or a deeper sound. It also depends on the size of the hole that you're blowing into. This is the example video. This is shofar looks like. How do they sound? The first one is called tekiya, and that is a long note. It just wakes up inner energy so that we can pursue our potential. This is tekiya and it sounds. Yeah. The second note is the teruah, and these are three short notes. They're very comforting. It allows thoughts and feelings to be felt or heard. This is teruah and it sounds. The third one is called shebarim, And this is kind of a medium note, and when we listen to it, it helps us to think about what we would like to accomplish in our lives. This is Shebarim and its sounds. Next instrument is Psalterion. The Psalterion is an ancient instrument seen in many forms. Early versions were simply a wooden board with gut strings stretched between pegs. How is a Psalterion played? The strings were plucked with fingers or by plectra. The name might have derived from the Greek "salein", meaning plucked with fingers. The player performed with the instrument on the lap or on the table, or in front of the chest, held with a strap around his neck if movement was needed. This is Psalterion looks like. This is how Psalterion played.
C'est pas forcément très pratique, mais apparemment ils y arrivent. Et c'est donc un instrument qui est vivant. J'ai redessiné, recalculé de manière avec des cordes qui sonnent aussi bien dans des graves que dans les aigus. Et après on peut en jouer, donc avec des plectres.
Jewish lyre. Jewish lyre or kinnor, it has been referred to as the national instrument of Jewish people. The kinnor had from 3 to 12 gut strings. In late antiquity, usually 10. How is a Jewish lyre played? It was played with a plectrum with accompanying singing or dancing, but was apparently plucked with the fingers when used as a solo instrument. How are sounds produced on a Jewish lyre? Kinnor has its own resonator in the lower parts of its body. It likely consisted of a soundboard with two arms extending parallel to the body, with the arms crossed by a yoke from which the strings extend down to the body. This is the Jewish lyre and how it played. Let's proceed to other significant instruments of Arab countries. First, goblet. The goblet is a hand drum with a goblet shape used mostly in the Middle East, North Africa, and Eastern Europe. How is a goblet played? The goblet drum may be played while held under one arm, usually the non-dominant arm, or by placing it sideways upon the lap with the head towards the player's knees while seated. Some drums are also made with strap mounts, so the drum may be slung over the shoulder to facilitate playing while standing or dancing. How are sounds produced on a goblet? It produces a resonant, low sustained sound while played lightly with the fingertips and palm. Some players move their piece in and out of the bell to alter the tone. Some players also place their hands on the surface of the drum to produce a muted sound. This is a goblet and how it played.
The tombek. The darabuka. The darabuka with jingles. The djembe.
Next is the top. The term bendir, it means in Turkish language a big hand frame drum, which is known as daf in Arabic language. The drum is played vertically by inserting the thumb of the left hand in the special holes in the frame. This is a tough and how it played. Last, the oud. It is a string musical instrument prominent in medieval and modern Islamic music. It was the parent of the European lute. The oud has a deep, pear-shaped body, a fretless fingerboard, and a relatively shorter neck and somewhat less acutely bent back pegbox than the European lute. The tuning pegs are set in the sides of the pegbox. The gut strings, plucked with a plectrum, are fastened to a tension, like guitar type, bridge on the instrument belly. This is a oud and how it played.
This is the oud. The oud is a lute instrument that is popular in the Middle East, in Iran, North Africa, Greece, Anatolia, all over the place. And it's an instrument that has a very long history. It's thousands of years old and has been played in this region. It was played by some of the great philosophers and thinkers in history. Indeed, the Arab philosopher Al-Kindi from the 9th century calls it the instrument of the philosophers. And it's been very popular across history. It's also very significantly the ancestor to the European lute. We can hear this in the name. Al-oud becomes lute, becomes lute. And therefore it is also actually the ancestor to the modern guitar. So it's a very significant instrument and it sounds like this.
The classification of musical instruments of Israel are the shofar, belongs to wind instrument or aerophones, the psalterion, kinnor or Jewish lyre, and oud are belongs to string instrument or chordophones, and the goblet and toph are belongs to membranophones. Thank you for listening.